Welcome back to a very important video of the Kenny Veach case. Today, I'll be presenting to you an official missing persons report of Kenny Veach, which has been provided by the Las Vegas Police Department and passed on by Susan Veach. This report contains all kinds of details about Kenny Veach, such as physical appearance, what he was doing, when he was last seen, as well as key dates and times of when he was officially reported as missing, and little details of who reported him missing as well. We're going to go through all of that in a specific order. I'm going to explain and describe as we go through. I'm also going to compare and contrast to certain screenshots and comments made by Sharon Pilgrim, the girlfriend of Kenny Veach, because the girlfriend has lied within the case. Okay, so let's get straight into it right now. So to start things off, this is the first part of the report. I will zoom in so it's easier for you to see the details, okay? So we start at the top, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, and then the address of the department, as you can see. Missing person report, case report number, and then we go down here, administrative, location 4824 Howard Street, Nevada, Las Vegas. That's just the address of Kenny's home, where he originally lived, as you've seen several times before in my past videos. Occurred on date/time, Monday the 11th of the 10th, 2014 at 6 a.m. Reporting officer, Jake von Goldberg, entered by Jake von Goldberg. Now, just to explain things, the date, the 11th of the 10th, 2014, that is the date Kenny supposedly went out on his hike and went missing. And just to throw in addition, if you are a bit confused, the dates are in reverse, okay? Because that's how it is in the US. So where it says the 11th, that means the 11th month, November. And 10 is the 10th day of November, 2014. Hopefully that clears that up, okay? So if we move on to the next slide of the report, under administrative, we've got some key dates to read out. Sector/beat or between date/time, Wednesday the 11th of the 12th, 2014, 12 a.m. Reported missing on the 11th of the 17th, 2014. Entered on the database the 11th of the 17th, 2014 at nearly 5 p.m. Clark County, offences, missing person, adult, victims, none, arrestees, none, witnesses, none. So if we go back to the top and we look at the date, as said, where it says reported on the 11th of the 17th, 2014, that is the date when Sharon Pilgrim, the girlfriend of Kenny Veach, decided to report Kenny Veach missing. That's 7 days after Kenny went out. Now, the reason why Susan Veach said it took 8 days to report Kenny missing and not 7 is because if you look on the screen right now, under entered on, and it gives the date 11th to 17th, it was done at 4:52 p.m, nearly 5 p.m, so it's getting on a bit during the day. It's approaching night time, and because of that, it means any action, such as sending police out, search and rescue, would have been done the following day. And as said by Susan Veach, during November, it starts getting dark around 5 p.m, which means search and rescue cannot do anything until the next morning, hence why it's 8 days after Kenny went out. So based off that, the chances of Kenny surviving out there seems very unlikely due to the harsh terrain, environment, the weather, time of the month, as well as Kenny having limited items and resources with him, like how he's done previously on other hikes, and additionally being out there and exposed to the nature for 7 to 8 days. That does seem pretty rough, doesn't it? And yet, if he was reported missing earlier, maybe there was a higher chance he could be found alive. Well, that was supposedly the case, right? Because this is what Sharon had to say. There is no telling where or how far he could have hiked during his 3-day, 2-night solo hike. When he did not call me after the 3rd day of being gone, I called missing persons. The search for him was started within a couple of days of my call. Over 30 search and rescue team members searched 3 different times on foot. So as you saw, 2 different dates. Sharon saying she did it earlier, but the official report saying she actually did it later. So why was she lying? Was there a misunderstanding? Did she just slip up on her words in the comment section? And those lies have shown now when compared to evidence. I mean, is there any other way to try and understand it? Well, what Sharon was getting at was, what, 2 to 3 days Kenny is out there for. So let's just say 3 days. The 13th day, then she left it a couple of days and then reported him. So if a couple is 2, then that'll be 15. But then there's still at least 2 days of nothing, you know, up to the 17th of when it was actually reported and noted down. So there's still a 2-day delay regardless. So it's kind of suspicious, isn't it? I mean, I can kind of understand why someone might leave it for a certain amount of days if that's what the person originally said who was going out there. I'm going out for this set number of days. So obviously the other person will wait, you know, those amount of days. And then the day after, if no return or anything, then you would take action. But Sharon didn't. She left it 2 days. And then it got to the 3rd day because of the whole timing and stuff. So it was still left a bit too long. So, and you can't deny that in terms of comparing the dates from what Sharon said in the official report, she did lie or she did get it wrong, you know. The question is why? Okay, so now let's return back to Kenny Veach himself and look at a profile description about him. Now, we just look at the top part, missing person. Written statement, no. Age, 47 at the time. Weight, 140 pounds. Date of birth, 1966. Height, 5'8", tourist. He's a resident. Male. Race, white. Hair colour, brown. Ethnicity, not Hispanic or Latino. Eye colour, brown. Okay. Let's just go down a little bit. We're already aware of, you know, the address. But in terms of the phone number, I blurred that out. Well, blocked it out, as you can see in the black box. Well, rectangle, whatever you want to call it. And I did that, you know, because phone numbers can be passed on to other people and you don't want strangers, you know, ringing one another. That would get a bit weird. Okay, so out of respect for one's privacy in this regards. So we go down here. Missing person / runaway. That's what he's classified as. Physical appearance, casual clothes. Skin complexion, fair. Hair length, short. Speech characteristics, doesn't say. Injury or condition, not provided. Medical info, unknown. Disappearance type, voluntary. Last seen by Sharon Pilgrim. You know, most of those details about Kenny do check out. It is who he is. But 2 things did surprise me, which I thought would have been included, maybe explained, was the injury / medical report. Because, you know, I thought they might have added in, like, Kenny sustaining injuries in the past on previous hikes, such as the leg injury, where he had to be rescued. Maybe that's why he needed knee braces after that, as we saw in his hike video. Just a thought. And maybe those injuries in the past weren't that serious. But, you know, it just provides a bit of insight to what could have happened to Kenny since he didn't come back. Because, let's look at it this way. Those injuries sustained previously, such as the leg one, I think it was a broken leg, was when he was out hiking in that area. Now, if he's gone back out there, surely Sharon would have provided that information of his past history, his past record with the area, if he's a bit reckless, if he could be a danger to himself or he puts himself in danger, then it could provide a better insight to this time round, maybe the outcome was worse. He wasn't able to get out, wasn't able to get help, and that's why he didn't return. This injury this time around was far worse and more fatal. Just a thought. I thought it might have been included just so people know what they're dealing with. Additionally, as for the medical condition aspect, I assumed that the whole mental health problem was going to be added in by Sharon into the report, you know, extra information added in so the police have an idea of the stability of Kenny. Is he of sound mind or not? And I know, you know, this whole concept of suicide might not be actually true, but in terms of Sharon's eyes and thoughts, you thought she would have, you know, continued and been consistent with that idea and concept and included it in the report to seal it, you know, proper evidence to say Kenny is depressed, Kenny has this, Kenny has that, but it's not included in the report. So why is that? You know, if Sharon was around and saw Kenny, heard Kenny with him talking about, you know, negative stuff and what he's going to do, and, you know, no one's going to find him when he goes out on that hike, you know, first of all, you would have assumed she would have stepped in quicker and harder and intervened, you know, especially with her being a mental health expert in the field. Well, she didn't do that, so that's kind of odd in the first place. But then not to include, you know, suicidal issues with Kenny within the report of him going missing, it's like, why are you excluding that detail? Because if it is what it is, then it's a very important note to point out and to note down, you know, because if someone was suicidal and then they go missing, then it's kind of like, well, it kind of explains for itself, doesn't it, what the actual outcome is. But for someone to not include that area, then it makes you question, well, then maybe it isn't the main driving force behind, you know, Kenny's outcome, him going missing. There's another reason to it. Did Sharon mess up, slip up? Was she not consistent enough that time? Or was there something else going on? Was she distracted? I'm not sure, but you just would have assumed it would have been added in. Now, we have a few more additional details of Kenny. Let me just look up there. This is more to do with what he looked like before he went missing. Last seen wearing white shirt, blue jeans. Footprints, photo, not available. Further down. Hairstyle, thin, normal, straight. I don't know if it means straight in his hair being straight or straight in him, you know, not being gay. I don't know. Speech manner, doesn't really say, but if I had to say, you know, he kind of stutters at times when he gets a little bit excited, or when, you know, he gets a bit too passionate, I guess. Headwear, colour, teeth, description, facial hair, dominant hand. It's kind of a bit all over the place, that text. Blood type, unavailable. Missing before? No. So it's not a tendency for him to do that, okay? Relationship to MP, whatever that means. Last seen where? At the movie theatres, Fort Apache, Sahara. I assume that's the name of the movie theatre. Maybe we'll take a look at that sometime. POB, yeah, okay. Let's just go down a bit. Normal, unshaven, / stubble, right, which I assume means he's right-handed. 4 years ago. Well, it's probably more longer than 4 years, but maybe when the report was issued or done or something, or updated, I don't know. And then it says Las Vegas, Nevada, the 11th of the 9th, 2014, 10 p.m. Now, it'll make more sense, I think, in the next slide or two. But basically, that date there, the 11th of the 9th, is the day before he went missing. It's the final time Sharon saw Kenny. If we move on to the next slide, which looks at, you know, the key person that reported Kenny missing, the girlfriend, Sharon Pilgrim. Written statement, no. Date of birth, 1948. Height, 5'4". Resident. And that's about it. Age 66. Weight, 120 pounds. So once again, who you see is who you see in terms of the profile report, although limited. But it does make you wonder and question why no written statement was provided by Sharon. Because surely, if you want the highest chances of someone being found, you want to provide as much detail as possible, background information, certain tendencies, behaviour patterns and stuff like that, because it might help, even the smallest of details. And yet that wasn't provided by Sharon. And as well, Sharon's background into the mental health field, you know, you would have assumed because of that stuff you'd be making case files, maybe case notes, or just bullet points, noting stuff down, making it precise, accurate, detailed, just organised, so you can truly understand everything. And yet none of that seemed to translate over to this police report. So it is kind of strange that, I mean, could it be because at the time Sharon was in a bit of a mess, she was sad, she was upset, she wasn't able to think straight, so she couldn't provide as much detail as, you know, if she was a bit calmer, maybe. But then why was it not added afterwards? You know, just edited, updated maybe. That wasn't the case. So it's like, why did that happen? You know, was Sharon not giving everything? Was she holding back on information because it wouldn't have helped, or maybe it might have solved something and she didn't want it to be solved? You know what I'm saying? It's kind of odd in a way. So lastly, let's look at the final page of the report, which looks at Kenny Veach and his final moments before he disappeared. So under the narrative tab, it reads, Sharon Pilgrim, also pronounced Sharon, last saw Kenny Veach on the 11th of the 9th, 2014 at 2200 hours at the movie theatre located at Fort Apache and Sahara. Veach told Pilgrim that he was going camping for 2 days in the mountains north of his house, possibly Corn Creek. Pilgrim told Veach to text before he heads out. On the 11th of the 10th, 2014, at 6 a.m. in the morning, Veach texted Pilgrim that he was heading out. Pilgrim has not heard from Veach since. In addition, Veach is Pilgrim's ex-boyfriend / former cohabitant, and they have had continual contact over 7 years, to include regularly hiking. 3 weeks ago, Veach talked about having thoughts of suicide and stated he would do it in the mountains where nobody could find him. Since that comment, Pilgrim told Veach he has to contact her every 5 days or she would call police for a welfare check. Veach has continuously called since then. When Pilgrim had not received contact 5 days after the day he was supposed to be home, she called the police. Veach is losing his house and also owns an unknown type of firearm. I'll be honest with you, before reading that report, I was always under the impression from, you know, reading other stuff as well, that Kenny went to the movie theatre the same day he went missing. So like he went to the movie theatre either just before or just after lunch, then he sent a text message after lunch, and then he went out to hike and then didn't come back from there on. But that's not the case, because in the official police report and what's been said by Sharon is Sharon was last with Kenny the day before he went out, and it was at 2200 hours when they were like watching a film together. I can't remember the name of the film, something to do with flying birds, wings or something, flying away. There's a little secret message behind that, I believe, or something, can't remember. But yeah, I didn't know the name of the movie theatre, but now I do, so that's kind of interesting. I don't know if it's worth, you know, is it worth using the Google Map thing? Maybe I'll do that. You know, it's another key location. Why not? Okay, I'll do that. Is there anything else to look back on? Well, I don't know. It's just when you look at the bit down below after that, where it's going on about the whole 3 weeks beforehand. Now, I assume the 3 weeks beforehand is 3 weeks, you know, before he went out on that final hike. So he started displaying supposed signs of suddenly being depressed and stuff. Now, I don't know when that ties in with the whole M Cave hike. Was it done in November? Was it done months before that? You know, does it follow a certain order? Because if that M Cave hike video was done at the time, and even before that, he was okay. He did his M Cave video. He was still somewhat okay. But then he went out another time after that or something, or when he got back after that, that's when it kicked in, because he thought, oh, I can't find it, I can't find the cave, what am I gonna do? Oh, and it gets too much and then he breaks. Could that be it? I don't know, it's just a possible idea. But yeah, 3 weeks before, Sharon talking about the whole, if you don't call after 5 days or something, then police will come round. So I guess she was trying to step in a way, some kind of prevention thing. But at the same time, I'm kind of confused by the bit where it says, I think I'm correct in saying 5 days after his disappearance. Well, 5 days after his disappearance, well, that would be the 15th. And then you got the 16th and the 17th, as I said, the 2-day period. But it just seems to be all kind of mismatched all over the place. You know, 1 minute it's this date, then it's that date. The official date of when it's reported is much later. So it's like, is it a 2-day wait period? Is it a 3-day wait period? Is it a 5-day wait period of no contact and then you step in? I mean, it just seems to be all muddled all over the place in terms of sharing. Do you really understand what I'm getting at? So this kind of like muddled behaviour, it's making you wonder, is it Sharon slipping up, making the odd mistake, kind of exposing herself in a sense? Or was she just confused at the time and, you know, mistakes were made? You can comment down below and give me your thoughts. In addition, I mean, another point to make note of is the way they've slanted it with Kenny saying he's the former boyfriend of Sharon Pilgrim. Now that would make sense because, you know, from the looks of it, he's no longer around, so he's a former boyfriend. Okay, that makes sense. And yet with Sharon as well, they're saying ex-girlfriend, cohabitant. I think that means like they were living together or something at a point in time when they were just friends. Okay. But then why... I guess a bit later on, why is Sharon claiming she is the girlfriend? Like, she is the girlfriend right here, right now. Because look at the comment she left on Kenny's video. Sharon says, I am the girlfriend that Kenny spoke of in the video. You know, in that comment by Sharon, if she said something along the lines of, I was the girlfriend Kenny spoke of in that video, it would make more sense, wouldn't it? But no, she's saying she is the girlfriend right here, right now. In that sense, that language used, that's how I would infer it. So then it makes you think, well, if you weren't the girlfriend, you were just friends at a certain point, as Kenny stated, cohabitants, and then you were a girlfriend, and then you became an ex-girlfriend, but you're now claiming you are the girlfriend, even though Kenny now is no longer around. It's just so back and forth once again. You know, not just with the information, but like the status back, forth. I know in real life, real situations, that can happen. 1 minute you're this, next minute you're that. 1 minute you might be close friends, you get on well in any situation, and the next thing you're together. And then it could go back, forth, I don't know. But just once again, it's like, was it another little slip up? The wrong one word used that could reveal a lot to what actually happened down the line. Yes, she is the girlfriend, and she is now the girlfriend, or at least was when the comment was made, because they are living together, or they were together in some way. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a bit weird. So hopefully that, you know, police report made sense. Some people could say, oh, well, there's nothing too groundbreaking. Well, what I'm getting at is, you know, certain points were raised and mentioned in the past, and some people said, yes, but okay, Susan's saying it's been 8 days since reported, or 8-day delay, oh, this and that. Yeah, okay, Susan's saying it, but where's proper hard evidence? Where's visual evidence? We need this and need that. Well, there you go. This is finally actual, you know, visual evidence, a bit more harder evidence to reinforce to those points made previously, which is what you need, which is what you want in a mystery, obviously. Proper evidence and a proper report. And once again, okay, yes, it talks about the suicide concept and things going on there in the background of Kenny, but in terms of actual reports, actual documents, medical reports, you know, all of that, no information provided whatsoever. Nothing to do with suicide, nothing to do with depression, nothing to do with any physical injuries and stuff like that. So it's like, why is all that the most important part, where it's like evidence within evidence, proper documents attached by medical personnel and high up people who know what they're saying? Why was none of that put in? Unless the depression and all that started, you know, kind of early on, or, you know, near to when he disappeared. So it's not like there was enough time to actually refer him to somewhere and stuff like that. I guess it all depends how you look at it, but still. You can leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think and where you're at with the mystery, okay? And we'll see what happens next. I mean, it's kind of interesting, isn't it? So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.